into one of the great shocks in World Cup history. They believe they can upset Spain here, as they share some history of their own, who have been in their first two World Cup games for the very first time. It was an egg reach the knockout rounds, and that was all the way back in 1994 when this wonderful country hosted their tournaments. This afternoon in Atlanta, I think it's fair to say that Saudi Arabia, they are sensing another moment.
Number was laid out by Cabo Verde, how to frustrate Spain. You can concede the wide areas. To be fair, Saudi did brilliantly dealing with the crosses from both line. 47 crosses in that match. But one, they were exceptional being able to handle it. So if Spain gets stuck into that rut where they cannot find the creativity in the middle of the park, they've got to solve it with movement. For the Saudi side, it's about making everything congested, being compact, and then breaking out those transitional moments. Because unlike Cabo Verde, when Saudi Arabia get forward quicker, they get more numbers, and they are far more clinical at finishing.
Another stellar crowd here at the Atlanta Stadium. And the Green Falcons are the home of the Atlanta Falcons, as they look to soar high in Group H. Anticipation again of this high-leading showdown. Game number 1001 in World Cup history at the Tunisia Germany, that grand milestone last night. Everything's certainly still to play for in this group. Second in the world. It's the great nation ranked outside the top 60. Saudi Arabia growing year on year. Certainly helps their domestic league influx of overseas talent. But improving the locals and the homegrown players. Here in Atlanta, they have the chance to twist the knife further really into the European champions. For many, Spain were favourites at the start to go all the way. Nobody here unthinkable.
Every tournament has different forms of adversity, injuries, travel, conditions, setbacks in the result. For Spain, they faced their first test of adversity. The response within the first 5 to 10 minutes for Luis de la Fuente's side is going to be massively important. So be able to get them back on the right track with that mentality that they are one of the best in the world and that they should and could be lifting that trophy on July 19th.
Spain and Saudi Arabia in Group H, a group that is completely wide open. All 4 teams sit on the single points, and today we find out whether Spain can finally rediscover their best. But whether Saudi Arabia take inspiration from Cabo Verde's heroics and plunge Larga into even deeper, almost unthinkable struggle going into the final game of the group. So World Cup has already delivered some remarkable stories. The Green Falcons have a history of unsettling the Giants. They arrive in Atlanta believing they can do it again. Another chance to show their heavyweight. Another chance to write their own chapter on the biggest stage. As every player stands around the centre circle, we get ready for the national anthems. The national anthem of Spain.
standing in Jerusalem for the playing of the national anthem of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Spain against Saudi Arabia here in Atlanta is just moments away. So Germany always needed for Spain, but one thing that he said yesterday, he doesn't care how he comes by.
At this point, it's about the results. Doesn't necessarily matter if it's just they are pleasing for Spain. At times they love to pass the ball countless times east to west, but we're going to see more north and south being able to really stretch Saudi Arabia. And that creates a bit more pocket of space. Danny Olmo coming in today could be a real key contributor finding those pockets of space. And then, of course, the man is back in the lineup.
Except for Saudi Arabia, always keen from Cabo Verde, you feel that he could break into this one.
A low block. First your opponent. If you're Saudi Arabia, the longer this game goes at 0-0, get your opportunities on the break. You've got to be clinical. You've got to have more thought in what you're doing when you get to the final third, which I do believe Saudi Arabia does. This will be a much different test for Spain. We'll see if they've learned their lessons and if Saudi have figured out the blueprint that Cabo Verde laid out in match day 1.
So it's a very good afternoon to Rafael Klaus, who is our referee for this one. He's in charge of the 2024 Copa America final. He's actually officiated in Saudi Arabia in the Super League this season gone. On video duty, Nicolas Gano from Colombia. So keep a close eye on things. Well, something just didn't work for Spain against Cabo Verde. So expected changes made by Luis de la Fuente. Pedro Porro coming into the back line in place of Marcos Llorente. But there's no Fabio Ruiz and Ferran Torres from the start. Gatti also. So the creative dynamo, there he is, Danny Olmo, Alex Baena also, and of course Lamine Yamal with his first start at this World Cup that was meant to belong to him. Spain had never lost in regulation time when he started. In terms of Saudi Arabia, they were just put these stitches too, but they have Mohamed Al-Owais, a goal, who was a stopping machine against Argentina 4 years ago. Ali Najami and Nasser Al-Dati preferred South Korea. Al-Abri was then scoring against Uruguay in game 1. And Salim Al-Ghazali stand there against Argentina, living long in their history. They do it again. This is 8th start of the World Cup, the third most in Saudi Arabia World Cup history. For Ferris, Rickett also their top scoring qualifying, but Jamie, all eyes on this man right here.
Lamine Yamal, that's a name that's synonymous with World Football household name already at just 18 years young. Transformative player when he came onto the field. 19 minutes against Cabo Verde. He had more dribbles than Ferran Torres and Gavi combined. Lamine Yamal, this is the first World Cup of many, looking for the first goal of many. All eyes are on the 18-year-old. And boy, can he handle it.
sure. And now the first time scoring well. To have the side, Walker's on it. Stripping up fly, right again. Minimal. With a class almost. A perfect contribution. Starting as they need to go on, Jimmy.
Incredible strength and power from the lead ball. Just a glimpse of what's to come inside the first 30 seconds.
The starts, and of course, all you know is heavily involved. There is Lewis to the point.
This is great.
Smoking his tips, his eyes are put into right house. Players are lined up. The media man discussion was rife in his press conference yesterday. And look at the impact it's had.
He's already grabbed the attention of 2, even 3 defenders. Looking deep, we're saying there's too much attention to the ball. How quickly can they switch the play and try to find it through the other side?
Described him yesterday when he said about jokingly, he's a genius like Dali and Michelangelo. Switch away, that's a fabulous pass. I look at this. And an important block. As he flies over the top for a corner. It's my inner of Atletico Madrid. There is Richard Stones. There's not much better than the table back block. Focusing on points in the first game. This is a different animal. We saw it become a bit, didn't we? A lot of same ball, a lot of the opponent inside their own half.
I want to see Spain do it a little bit quicker than they did against Cabo Verde. If it's not on the one side, then you've got to go the other. You wait for the moment when Saudi Arabia do not ship it quickly, or somebody is lazy or late, and that's when you penetrate the pass.
Traparo, top secret Spurs in the Premier League.
You talk about what makes a player special. At 18 years old, full of stars on the Spanish side. They want to get into the medium ball. You got some of the best players, best midfielder to lose the but those players quickly want to get in. How they get into the medium ball and watch it go to work. And if that is the case, then the Spanish players like Diane on the far side, way out the ball in the middle, he can make sure to put movement and options on to try to come out quickly or get on the end of the pass from the medium ball.
He's on the ball now. It's fascinating to see how many minutes he does play. Everybody who's trying to get an answer hasn't really still a foot in yesterday. Is he ready? How long is he going to play? We sense that he was going to start this one, coming back from that hamstring injury.
Well, it's looked lively right inside the first 4 minutes. All the little explosive movements that you're cautious about, the strength that he's shown, and the confidence quick for the defender. Get back up to beat him again the second time.
Becoming the youngest European players who appear in 2 major tournaments. And bring yourself by Chip Bellingham. That's Patrick. Action Correa making one of those overlapping runs of his. Rodri. Pedro Porro now. Just about avoided relegation with Spurs on the final day of the Premier League last season. Pedri getting almost the target to club teammates Barcelona. After all 4 teams starting on a point, nothing will be decided today. Spain do have Uruguay to play though. Saudi Arabia will face Cabo Verde in their final group games. Wonderfully open.
Just puts a little bit more pressure on Spain today. This match stays level and they split the points. They're able to be much happier than 2 sides.
Meanwhile,
gonna suffer at times. They're okay with that. Carry the back forward a bit here. We're on top. Spain is trying to make sure they can control it. Figure out when the moment is to go forward. But Saudi Arabia has not given them anything so far to penetrate, essentially.
Apa tadi dia bilang rasa ya.
It was a 3-on-3 for Saudi Arabia.
Pas ya tadi dua orang dia.
That's the moment they're waiting for. I'd like to see Al Abdi just go 1v1, try to be creative, decisive in that moment, see if you can beat your man and get the numbers advantage.
Saudi Arabia, number 2 of the last 17 World Cup matches. Or the last 20.
Tutorial.
Already starting to see the outside actions being invert inside. And then 2-1-3, fighting on one side, on the other stay a bit wider, slightly different than what we saw in match day 1.
Oh, bagus.
So what is it there? The force is up, Akamasi, from the back as well, that's going to be. He's capable of scoring spectacular goals. No matter that. Goals, 17 assists, as you can see there, in Barcelona this season. Effective, although the injury towards the end of the season, certainly he felt as though it was an injury that could have had serious repercussions for his World Cup future here. Suggesting that his injury is a 30% of relapse as well.
I'm going to deal not to play the medium ball in the first matchup that we had to scoreline. Love to get a goal or two cushion to be able to pull off the medium ball as soon as possible if and when this matchup feels comfortable.
Marco has been built as his World Cup.
Masuk.
This is everyone.
Dia Yo, semuanya maju ini tungguan.
Pedro Porro.
Pedro Porro.
So much more offensively than what this counterpart Valente did, who got to start it right back in match day 1. The medium ball is going to draw the attention of multiple defenders, and it's going to need to be the players around him that provide an option. This would have been something spectacular. Gets his body shape all wrong. But it's been an encouraging start for that man at his side 10 minutes in.
It's one of those for Tottenham in the Champions League this season. Right back roll.
Itu yang saya adik oh manis. Jauh banget. Penting ya.
Get used to hearing this. The medium ball is scored. And the
Halo,
World Cup. With the 18-year-old shoulders. And he delivers questions about could he sprint at full speed with the hamstring injury hurting?
Dapat di
That
situ.
moment or answer. Arrives at the right time. Like he's arrived on the biggest stage in this world. Calmly and confidently finishes it. And the reaction says it all.
Demi yang orang yang sebaik.
He is a star.
Pemainnya.
This is his yard.
Masalah.
First goal of what he won. First in the year. At the Super World Cup, we've seen Messi. We've seen Harry Kane. We've seen Kylian. The superstars turn up when it matters.
Terus dia tahu.
And the Milan getting in on the action.
At the end of the day, he's still human. Might be superhuman, but he is a human, and you feel the emotions and the pressure for a goal scorer to get a goal 10 minutes into your first start. The World Cup will be the biggest sigh of relief, and now I expect to see even more confidence and bravado from the 18-year-old with the goal already in the back pocket.
So another run of 294 minutes to go in the FIFA World Cup. I think I'm going to show in front of the FIFA presidents, Gianni Infantino. He has to commit to this. Miami is coming in at full force. The enemy on the pass. Just put this a little bit more into the gap. Always does everything in confidence of this biggest moment. What an important save that is. Good communication. To call out another ball for Pedri. Just leads back at the wrong moment. It's a lot of shape. Years, 343 days, he's only the second teenager to score for Spain at a FIFA World Cup. Gabby did so against Costa Rica. 4 years ago, that also become the 13th different Spain player to score on a World Cup debut. The first since Gabby did it against Costa Rica in Qatar. Was injuries this season that he's had right behind him. He's in their pockets. Constance. Scotland and his feet as Rodri comes to the pieces. Another kick was in. He came charging out. Just anticipated the pass was going to go through. That was a real opportunity for Saudi Arabia. Here's Rodri. Turning out Spain's midfield. Changes that round in made. Really quick and work, and he's converted. And from starts. There's one ahead of Gabby, he looked to Atletico Madrid. And he sees him get some pretty good money. His career, he's played under some great top coaches, like Simeone, Emery, Barcelona.
Iya. Yo, yang berapa?
7 years away. You play in Saudi
Saking legendnya, saking rare-nya. Aku dapat posisi fix gelandang, nah ini bisa berubah. Iya berapa? Wow. Rara boleh sebenarnya. Oh. Ya, ayo. Woi, ada hal kah? Angkat petunjuk. Ada lagi ditembak kan kau ni, untuk saja, selesai. Tembak nanti. Beliau ya, tunggu. Jangan sih. Dua lama. Lagi.
Saya ada Pak, kalau ini
Menadi itu harus kena bersih lagi.
misalnya ini,
Oh, penyempak yang bisa main. Oh, penyempaknya kan.
There's lots of Brazilians.
Ini lagi Indonesia.
Extra.
Situ.
Aku ada dia football. Mungkin ya. Makse. Ini apa nih?
Top scorer.
Tapi singkatan Arab pakai salah.
asal aja.
Kayak 88. Betul.
Pelajaran nih soal apa ya? Bahasa
King,
Indonesia nih.
king kan.
Oke, king.
King pun sebagai baca. Win, win, Gamal, Gamal. Semua lah. Ini 29 tahun.
Aku beda, anu ya tarinya dari pelatihnya dia. Tahu? Ya.
Begitu ya.
Wow. Nah, ini tuh kena pada ini tarinya yang
Daniel lah siapa? Ini kalau saya ya, dia pun tidak pakai kalau di saya bol ini.
atau kalau jadi anu aja tapi ada dikit aja.
Allah. Sekelas. Nah, ini tadi golkan deh.
Ada satu.
Yang football. Oke,
Makanya ada CB aplikasi ini.
aplikasi nggak tahu di bawah kita itu. Belum jangan di sini. Dengan gue bayar. Dari dengan gue bayar.
TikToknya tuh.
Throughout the course of this match. This one, poorly cleared. Just from this moment, it's bouncing around.
Kurang naik ya.
Just the desire to get there, the inability to get into a position to
Go, 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 go.
He's so smart with his ability to take this first little touch in front of the defender. It controls him. And then the ability to be able to recalibrate, get his body sorted, go the outside of the left. That's a poacher's finish. Such a smart culture finish. And an important one for Spain.
Yeah, that scoring for Spain against Cabo Verde is his first blank since September in the qualifiers. And just checking, and everything was okay with the potential offside.
Mikel,
But he is flying.
Jamal.
2-0.
It has to be said that America worked it ever so well to reach back in, nod the ball into the path that we got the ball. So smart with that little touch, but it doesn't happen. The board doesn't stick in his head there where it doesn't belong bravely.
Apa mau smoker nih? Dapat tarik. Baik saya. Saya tergabung bulan 2005. Mungkin semua tiga kosong, dua tiga hari abang masih tidak mungkin. Remontada.
The outside boards, inability to really test the defenders 1v1, have been complete opposite in this match.
Lucu ya, almost. Oh ya,
And then this ball's fortuitously, we have the ball at the back post. And Yomo again showing his ability to arrive in the box, cause a bit of confusion. And every question that Spain had coming into match day 2 has been firmly answered inside the first 24 minutes.
A smile back on his face. Miguel Diaz-Abal.
Sudah mungkin cuci sendiri, Pak.
20 goals in 40 matches for Spain since the Euro started. The last year, in fact, 2025.
Wow. Ganti memang bagus. Belum lama nih, nggak saya gaji. Yo, kalau Indonesia lagi, gol.
First hydration break of the game. And now, Saudi Arabia needed this.
Memang. Waduh.
Breathless starting from Spain.
Picture perfect. In production for the Spanish side. And the biggest difference is you've had outside players willing to go at their defenders 1v1. What happened on the first goal? There was a little bit of interchanging play over to Calico, where on the ball is movement. He gets open. Want to go all across that man with the beat the ball to get his first World Cup goal. But then where on the ball has been in and around the box. He's been impactful. He's been in the right positions. This is that first goal we're talking about. Perfect. Way on
Yes,
this.
yeah, boy.
Defensive battle of the medium ball. But Spain kept going. And that was something that we didn't see versus Cabo Verde. It felt like there was this air of inevitability. We're going to get an opportunity. It's going to come. It's going to come. And ultimately, time ran out. Spain have been completely opposite in this match. They've gone and they've taken the pace to this game. They've been the protagonists from the first
Yeah, the two goals that are scored are 147 seconds apart.
I saw you counting with your fingers and your toes. And even little moments where it's just bouncing around. It's Laporte pulling the Zikas out of there. But we got the ball. Touched it with his left foot, and then watch the way he goes from taking this down, plants, and then is able to sort his feet out to go the outside of the left. Just a smart finish. It's instinctual. And Danny Olmo, we won't know much about the assist as he was trying to guide that to the far post, but when everything's going the way the Spaniards like it has inside the first 24 minutes of this match, they are answering every single question that was asked about them over the course of the last 6 days.
Wah. Agak buat. Nah, lagi agak buat.
Saudi Arabia being bad, this is about Spain being that good, showing why they are the number 2 team in the world and a real contender to like the trophy of July 19th. For Saudi Arabia, you just got to be able to get on the ball. You got to be able to try to get some sort of foothold in this match. Get able to move the ball, to be able to test Spain, moving them defensively to the outside. Get your press going. I haven't seen that from Saudi. It's been disjointed with the press so far.
This from Morton during the first half of the game of the World Cup. Very happy for the game to go on, a Brazilian referee. Who's his strength, but a youngster from Barcelona, 19 years old. Barcelona family all
Pemain yang kawan.
under pressure. Rodri likewise. Defender for Sambas, your winner. Lucky from Saudi Arabia here. Makes a run through. Uncle Honey, you please. In Europe, in this one, in France, for the North. It's the Champions League.
Bagus ya. Fokusannya mundur. Enggak mau. Boleh enggak? Fokusannya mundur. Belum begini bagus ya. Bukan nangis deh. Dua tinggi sih menurutnya aku. Di pertama enggak tangan beliau fungsi harusnya ini masuk lalu mau Lepas sekali tadi deh pas aku. Permi narik ya? Iya. Bagus sih Permi dibanding Olmo. Enggak.
Tremendous from Kamarsi. There was a better option though to be able to go up top. That was a poor decision. Heavy should have gone to the opposite number. Saudi build up. You cannot let go of yourself.
Olmo harusnya kan macam di situ. Dari orang kosong. Jalan terus. Sumpah itu mas satu main lagi. Jadi kami tipe Olmo ya. Berapa siapa? Cuman dia salah Olmo dan juga Mami. Masih kan? Harusnya Olmo itu. Iya, mana tahu dia? Bagus. Apa ya? Gimana ya? Sesuai dengan salah terus. Main aman ya kan? Dan dia masih baik. Terlalu tangan deh. Allah, bagus bola ini. Nanti tarik ya. Dari tarik.
He's looking for it. I mean, he also
Kalau
has
ada
the
kamu
ability
bukan kita
to
tahu,
tuck
ada
inside.
waktu
Just finds the
menunggu.
ability to half step that he needs to get the effort towards goal.
Tahu yang tadi itu,
This previous one,
yang kedua.
he wants to wayward. There has been so much confidence from the Spanish side.
So here goes again.
Tapi boleh-boleh curang, setidaknya dia balik untuk posisi orang baru lah. Kalau ada sebelum naik dulu sedikit. Bagus ya. Kalau mau ngerti lagi. Aku bingung nih main.
Used to back in 2006 in
Sekarang harus cari cara lain ya.
Nah,
Ini.
Almost.
Mana awak aja. Tapi tarik. Ya, bintang. Manusia dan istilah bos. Pantasan dia dengan Pedri, bodoh lah dia. Dia dengan Pedri atau orang Gaki ya, pintar deh. Pedri cocoknya dengan Gaki. Yo, Gaki yo, hei, kosong bang. Anu gak ada yang main ke video mo. 4 dolar.
Let's go knock on Javi Ruiz or Ferran Torres, both incredible players, but starting Danny Olmo, absolutely the right decision for Luis de la Fuente. Provided much more of an attacking option.
Aduh, jauh. Baik.
Without a doubt, it's just caused much more confusion. One criticism maybe from the three that started the match day one was that it's three very similar type players.
Dua.
Same player profile. This time you
Kalau mau harus nyari.
the field. They helped lead to that assist on the third goal. Combination looks to show that there's willingness to get inside the box. And for Spain, they had 16 shots inside the box in match day one, but they didn't have a player that was really looking to do that essentially, and it still leads to an opportunity. That is a really important challenge. Last hit Ferrari, Olajami, and Spain have just been nearly perfect through the first 40 minutes.
Ya kan? Ya Allah. Lampang kau. Pengen kenal lebih maupun.
Well, that's to say their last knockout round win was lifting the World Cup trophy in 2010, and coming into today, out of the last 9 World Cup matches, only 2 wins for Spain.
Bedroom burung. Satu dua empat lima hasil kurang sampai 1 menit dan 2 menit baru 5 menit besar. Olmo masuk sih.
Ya nggak mau emang.
Nah, ngapain panok di sini? Terus si target bagus. Menurutmu masuk ke kawasan itu ini.
Masa uangnya.
Yo.
On a hat trick.
Ya,
It's a hat trick to World Cup history. As a player that wanted to etch his name into World Cup or be the 6th player. Have all the confidence in the world. Was lacking in the match day 1. We got the ball, hitting the back of the net. You've seen his confidence grow as the minutes pass in this first half.
ya sih bagus dari pulang Olmo tuh. Dan harap lalu dulu kan. Beban muskuler ya.
Boleh.
Microcosm in the first half right there. Inside here for a little bit, they've got something on Spain, just able to get there a little bit quicker, and the bounces go their way. It's a tremendous challenge. Wonderful recovery from Baena.
Harus loh.
Bersih.
Oh itu kasih. Udah
Enggak.
Boleh bau naik kayak ini.
Baru lah yang musim itu
Langsung tuh ya.
di Barber cuma ini dulu dengan sapi ada sapi berpromosi. Itu dia akan banci dengan dia mental dari bintang.
Lack of explosiveness, maybe a little bit of hesitancy we saw in just that moment. If I'm Luis de la Fuente at this scoreline, what I would be thinking about taking him out at halftime, just putting him in some bubble wrap and saying, right, let's close the zone.
Aneh pada
Spain
video.
done a fairly comprehensive job dominating this match, got 3 goals to the good. Luis cannot afford to pick up an injury to Lamine Yamal if you want to make a serious run at the World Cup for Spain.
Yeah, he was on his this in the World Cup was the first thing that was on his mind when he got injured.
Nah, cantik kok. Dan harusnya begini. Ada? Bagus. Oke. Tapi keluargai kau di daripada Indonesia. Nah, itu kalau semua sih.
Nah, ini jalan kaki ya. Sangat-sangat.
Saya tahu. Siapa tadi?
We're looking at in terms of your match momentum. Sheer dominance from Maroon, who are showing their true colours.
Bagus itu.
I mean,
Mati lah di sini dan kamu lah.
The small to trouble that makes us in.
Ini kan kita seperti dulu. Tarik, kita kurang kau ya. Ya. Cari tulang ya.
Jualan, orang soleh yang tadi ini masuk bulan ini orang mau cenggir.
Dorong. Dah. Oh, penilai. Harus berkembang. Jangan tahu jadi
Lebih bobrok ya, lebih bobrok. Boleh lah. Aduh, boleh.
Lagi amal aja dia. Bagusnya amalnya dia, membantu bawah. Ini kasih bola karena buru-buru. Santai. Ini semua. Kalau pergi balik cantik. Cantik karena kaki masih lap. Udah kena kaca oleh kaki ya kan.
Sini bukan ini. Ya.
Nah, cara kita kalau udah kena kaki dah gue pas-pasnya dia. Masuk belum tentu lah, tapi ya. Harap yo mengalahkan Indonesia. Terus Indonesia bagus Indonesia.
Spanish side, everything you expect from a real contender to lift the world.
vez, Juanjo, a pedir de boca el plan de partido, el resultado, la actitud, la velocidad, todo, ¿no? Como habéis pensado.
Sí, la verdad es que, bueno, lo que queramos los futbolistas, ¿no? Salir a mover con intención de finalizar jugadas, de no regalar un balón, a estar bien también sin balón. La verdad es que la primera parte ha sido muy buena y ahora hay que centrarse en el que tiene que ser la segunda.
La segunda, con el partido ya así cuesta abajo con este resultado, la misma le podéis dar el descanso que quizás necesite, no forzarlo más. No sé si ya veíamos calentar a Ferran y a Jeremy al final.
Era lo previsto, José, como fue el partido, la misma descansa ya, ha cumplido con su trabajo, con sus minutos de día personales y además ha cumplido aquí en común, con lo cual merecido descanso.
Pues hablábamos al principio de que 3-0 en el minuto 20 y la cosa estará todo más tranquila.
¿No es la de la segunda ya?
Me la guardo para el siguiente partido, venga, vale.
Gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Difficult start to the game against Spain side playing on top form. What can you do to turn it around in the second half?
First of all, we've been shown the mistake that we made in the first half. We prepare one plan that we will avoid a lot of mistakes, but we make 2-3 big mistakes and we see the goals. And after to be more confidence with the ball, to believe to ourselves more. Thank you.
So as we have a look at what we've seen so far in terms of the stats and facts, Spain dominating possession. Look at that, 17 attempts are gone. So that just the two Saudi Arabia yet to have an attempt on target so far. Spain well worth the 3 goals.
17 shots in the post in the first half of this World Cup. It's been downright dominant when they kept pushing the pace of this match, unrelenting in their regress, their continuance to go at the Saudi side. It's been all about how good Spain have been, less about what Saudi have been able to do, because quite frankly, they've been chasing the game from the moment this match kicked off.
Smiles on the faces of the Spain fans. So they make themselves at home here in Atlanta. The Casa de España that is situated just around the corner for fans to gather before they make the march towards the stadium.
It's been absolute class here in Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta Stadium. It's been a vibrant, beautiful fan fest that's just outside, where boys and girls, men and women alike are cheering on wherever you are around the world.
And in terms of the head-to-head so far, Miguel, we're seeing it at his best now, aren't we? With the 2 goals that he scored here from those 5 attempts, he'll be looking his lips and trying to get that hat-trick.
We got the ball, it's the impact of all the movement and the 1v1 nature that the wide players have given for Spain in the center court. Have been able to react first and fastest to get his first goal, and it's just been on the end of so many different wonderful build-ups from the Spanish midfield.
It's not quite happening for his opposition. In terms of the final third entries, I mean, it's just dominant, isn't it, from Spain? Constant.
Look at the time spent in the final third as well. The variety and the diversity in the attack left and right. And it's been spectacular from Spain in the first half.
welcome back to Atlanta. Spain, well, they could have asked for a better first 45 minutes. They're going to have to with a couple of goals, Lamine finally announcing himself on a World Cup stage. And for Saudi Arabia, they'll have looked at this one and thought, well, we're going to put it into Uruguay. It's not the worst thing if we don't get anything, knowing that they can set up and go for it right on the third game of a group that is completely open to.
And here, Georgios Donis, you need to be thinking about what match day 3 versus Cabo Verde looks like. You're trying to get one of the final places in, and you never know how it's going to shape out with the Spain Uruguay game as well, or even the Cabo Verde Uruguay game later in Miami. So yeah, you might have a thought towards that with some of your substitutes and some of the players that are yellow cards for the Saudi side. If first half is replicated in the second half, this could go from ugly to worse for the Saudi side, and you just have to manage the scoreline, manage minutes of players, and have a thought towards that next match.
Spain up first, and they're going to make some changes because the Fuente was just waiting for absolute confirmation as to the players that have made way. I'm just looking down at where we are here. I don't see Lamine at all.
Quite frankly, nor should you. This is, you got 45 minutes out of him, you got a goal, you got that weight off of his shoulders, you progressed in the recovery, getting back in after 19 minutes in match day 1, 45 in match day 2. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Spain expect to be playing 8 games in this tournament. No need to risk it in the second half up 3-0.
Yeah, Ferran Torres on European Pino 1, Mikel Oyarzabal will not be going for a hat-trick. He has gone off as well. There are a couple of changes as well for Saudi Arabia. So Mohamed Keno and this coming on, and Abdullah Al-Habab is the other player that is coming on for Idris Donis. Al-Habab here. So the message you could be there, Jamie, you're down 3-0 at half-time as a coach. What do you want to hear? What do you need to hear from your coach as a player?
I want to hear a coach that still is positive and motivating and saying, let's break this down into 15-minute segments. Let's go in the first 15 minutes of the second half for Saudi Arabia. Try to press higher, try to win the ball back and have to take this position, win some free kicks, try and go and get a goal. But more importantly, the side now is facing a little bit of adversity to the Saudi side. What is the response, knowing that this is not a match that will see them eliminated if it doesn't go the way they can't turn this around, but you've got to build towards that next phase. But 15 minutes, you've got to look at it that way, try to accomplish that goal of competing, getting a goal back if you can, and then attack the next 15 minutes and the final 15 minutes after that.
Good season with Barcelona, 60 goals in La Liga, his best ever return. Switches in now to midfield. They struggle to really get the better of the likes of Rodri and Pedri and Daniel Long. Abdullah Al-Haddad of Al-Nassr, 3 goals in the second Super League after a move from Al-Hilal. You can see it.
Nanya apa? Nas. Torres. Semangat. Heran Torres.
Such an impact. He's an absolute superstar. He's got RB Leipzig, the Bundesliga, he's a cup winner there. He's Pedro, he's got in the spotlight. The referee has spotted that he's down below, and the games continue. The Ferran Torres behind by Leeds.
Ini mula habis itu kayak kan?
Itu mereka mau melawan Muslim, mau
Di kotaknya kamu ya? Oh, mantap.
nah ini sekarang. Belum ada toilet. Godaan, godaan. Ih.
Yuk. Santai gila, Bos.
It was good initial press to try to put the ball back, but then you see how disjointed the lines are from Saudi. They're just unable
Nah,
to
dia main pun salah. Emang baru dipuji. Dia beda. Tuh yang puji-pujikannya kalau tuh. Oh, itu banget kamu. Yang komentator yang ulmo tuh nggak bisa dipakai. Gamal nampaknya kena kaki. Dia memang. Gua ada. Bukan posisi, bukan. Torres. Oke. Hari buka yang kapan tuh nih?
Ada di pinggir itu nih.
Hah?
Ada Selama Juni ini sih ya. 80 energi Juni.
Energi itu apa?
Ini sanjung ya tua ya.
Bincang-bincang ya, sampai waktu ngomong. Bawa sila, lagi-lagi ramai semua kayak.
Namanya si itu kan sensitif. Bukan ditabur.
Cukup kalau itu.
Chelsea, now time for Chelsea.
Kita kasih kita jalan berubah.
Kaki. Bagus sih.
Was absolutely on point.
Offside.
Wah.
Just a sublime entry pass that brings full midfield line in the backfield line of Saudi Arabia. It was Kubarsi with just an inch perfect ball through.
Ngacak ulang deh.
Secured the progression from this group. The game's been played. The second round of matches. Coming down to the final game.
Namanya kalau mau balikan ini. Tahu bagus tuh itu.
Gila. Gila.
Kedua lah.
Spain.
Lukaku.
To win by Malawi.
Ya Allah, mau 3 kali.
Saudi.
Mulai susah tuh.
Easy pass. Saudi probably in these runs in his career. Always. Interaction here.
Bisa dapat.
That ball is just on the next level with the maturation that Kubarsi has at 18 years old. And the progressive passes that he can play. That is a real difference maker to have a center back that is so good with his feet and has such vision going forward.
Suspended in series in the last 23 World Cup matches. Spain has scored 4 or more goals. But the accounts have cut out with a 7-0 win against Costa Rica.
Ya, dapat kau.
That's a forced in Rodri now.
Tadi.
Patrick. Up on the side.
Wow,
Rodri.
yeah.
Rodri. Spain now.
Dapat.
Obviously sticking in the middle of the field. Dani Olmo. Patrick.
Nah, kaki Pedri. Asli.
Olmo yo. Jangan Olmo ya.
Ini gua cari jalan tidak mau dari tadi.
Moran.
Ambillah di belakang musuh ya. Dia tarik sedikit.
Rodri.
Ya malah kau nak pasin. Kau kurang hati wasit
Rodri, yeah, you're really good. Just trying to time his run at the top of the defensive line there.
It's the 20 pass plus sequence for number Spain.
The amaze will come to an end.
Right on cue, huh? Felt like you were enjoying the football too much with Spain. I had the commentator curse on. Just moving ahead. A moment ago we saw really insightful stuff that individual world. Offensive line breaking passes, and Aina has led the squad for 4. You combine that in the first half with the lead, the ball's dribbling ability. That sort of
Mengaku dari tadi kan tariknya. Berarti kan yang dari awal Arab itu. Nah, ini aneh kau naik. Saya ngomong. Suasana kalau untuk ramalan yang berikutnya kalau ada masak juga kan senang gitu Pak. Tetap sistem pelatih yo anak deng.
So it looks of changes here. It's the end of the rest of weekend's game.
Alhamdulillah. Semua tidak pelatih ini tengok Al-Haji. Ini ganti. Katakan dari tadi pelatih lama nilai dia nak kira-kira dua. Orang di pantai. Saya kira orang tandang Goles. Liu tarik kiri. Kalau mudah keluar ya. Murah ganti.
Yang masalah kita saya jawab saja.
Apanya?
Ya ada.
Oh.
Nanti boleh ada nanti.
Oh.
That's too long for Messi. He's got to make a decision quicker.
Just bring a bit of relief, folks, and you're going to do that again. It's going to go on the challenge. There's some foundations now going into that final game against Alabama.
Never really seen enough prolonged spells of possession from Saudi. That's borne out to the repress from Spain. It's been phenomenal from the Spaniards and the European champions, but for Saudi, they need to get some chance creation in these final 25 plus minutes. Just a little bit of something, proof of concept of how you can build forward, you can get opportunities. But it really feels as though when this match went forward at the beginning of the second half, they're already down to 3 and 4, certainly feels like you put it to rest.
Just obviously the second going to coach a match in a World Cup since Alcaraz. Julius. against Iraq in a World Cup. A warm-up game. And you know, just actually walking in his way out of the tunnel area, dressing rooms. A delivery where there's nobody there to be in the position to attack.
Mentioned Mourinho making his way out of the right by the Saudi bench, and in the midst of all the build-up for Saudi, head coach Jojo Solis turned it, gave a little bit of a thought that I'll still looking him on this, the respect being shown for the 18-year-old. Lots of praise yesterday in the press conference from the Saudi Arabia head coach. He sort of won the 18-year-old as well.
Just remember, he's the biggest talent in the world, and he's replaced Messi in Barcelona.
So we use Jamal's name in a sense with Pele and now with Messi. We're starting to get the hint that this guy is something special if you didn't know about on the floor.
Nico Williams, Athletic Club. Through the academy there at Giants, Bilbao. Jeremy Pino. Patrick. Search for 5 here, Spain. Michael Williams. That's on the stretch. Out of the zone. Deep towards Rodri. Let's get to the line here with Michael eventually going up. And so we will have the second half hydration break. Spain adding to the 3 goals from the first half through an own goal. So, Jamie, just a walk added by Spain, and rather fortunate circumstances.
Unfortunately for Spain, unfortunate for Saudi Arabia, whichever way you want to look at it, both would be applicable in this situation. And what you also have to say that applies to the second half is the fact that Spain has just continued on being the team to react first and fastest. They let the ball do the work. They kept taking over with passes. Saudi Arabia have not been able to put anything together. And it's not really down to the fact that they've been woeful or wasteful when they've got the opportunities. Spain has just been so good in their possession and their ability to retain the ball for long stretches of time. This is a special moment for Lamine Yamal and his first World Cup goal.
Well, they take you into the final, not necessarily country road.
Look back at the fourth goal. Bucadeo inexplicably just left wide open at the back post. When he does, he gets the technique spot on, tries to do it. You gotta give credit to the goalkeeper, Allies, for just being able to get in the way of it, but unfortunately his Altamaki it's turned into his own net. And that makes it for the Spanish fans even happier than they were after that nearly perfect first half.
Changing the process of the hydration break, and Fabian Ruiz just walking in the last 6 games this calendar year, in fact. Look at the warm-up win against Puerto Rico. Exactly the going. Great guns. Everett was dismissed from his role after a defeat to Egypt in late March. So they had a welcome back to the World Cup with Tunisia.
Talk about Luis de la Fuente turning 65 years old. Sergio Solis is turned 65 years old as a coach of this team.
They were hoping for no injuries, a good performance, a victory, and maybe a jumper for his birthday. That's what he said in his press conference yesterday.
He's got both of those things. We'll see about the jumper. That's a smart one he's got on right there.
Thank you for his work with the Spanish youth since he's been involved in the federation. And for so long now, 30 years. Getting back to his skeptics with success in the European Championships, reached 2 Nations League finals, one and lost one. Appeal to the next European Championships.
See the tactical flexibility. This man on the ball right there, Rodri. Making the back for most of the match. Now he dropped back to the backs.
Here is Kikura. Fabian Ruiz.
Waduh.
Start the first game with Ferran Torres. Goes on now.
Rodri's command in this game has been so influential. Just dictating the pace of play. He tells his teammates, knows where to go, they listen, instantly, and start this attack. Let's go from side to side.
Ripina. Going by Najami.
Bagus sekali.
Fabian Ruiz.
It's not a lack of effort for the Saudi side today. They just run into European giants, European champion in Spain at their absolute best.
I don't think big one as well.
See, that's progressively getting better by each match day with their superstars and Lamine Ball and Nico Williams progressively getting more and more minutes. And the former hitting on the score sheet today.
Swing on to St. Nations, so hold the World Cup. First title in South Africa. It's a yes, so long ago. It's been pretty big since then. It's just over 68,000 people now into today.
I'd say boy, this will just be the third win in the last 10 matches towards being a World Cup. 6 draws, but for a team that's been so prolific and as renowned as the best national teams in the world. Year in and year out,
Bagus sekali.
they've been top in the World Cups since they lifted the trophy.
Yo.
Slightly above.
Hah? Sekali. Sudah sih, tapi dapur. Nomor. Nomor kali ini. Kulit depan. Terlalu jauh. Terlalu jauh. Pan. Pan. Assalamualaikum. Oh, udah tidur ya? Ngopi lamanya? Hah? Tidak perlu ngobar galing kok. Siapa yang lakukannya? Laporannya? Ngobarnya. Ah, dah ada ya? Raketnya? lalu belakang lagi oh. Bener ya, nggak kirim aja foto mere dua alamat. Kesiaga boleh. Jadi yang manusia dan kirim aku ya nggak ada. Jadi kalau kecelakaan dulu itu ya kalau skor tidak kalau di situ ya kami masuk dua. Jadi itu dia biasa ya. Terus sama sini. Itu ada yang dibuka masalah kalau ini kira-kira anak kirim gitu ya. Apa ya? Nah, itu kami acikan. Terima kasih kami. Assalamualaikum. Masih cuma Spanyol dua kok. Nah, dasar masuk. Ya prediksi gue Argentina dan Prancis saja final. Aksi awal Prancis apa Prancis? Benar dia melihat iya ego main juga itu pasti ada ego mainnya ya. Ya Argentina pun ada dua, Prancis ada dua. Dari awal belum ada ini televisinya lah, jadi posisinya Argentina dengan Brazil sekarangnya Brazil. Dan bukan akan melakukan ini bisa sisa juga Brazil. Melihat bisnis yang menyebutkan sarangan. Itu bagus tuh. Ini itu banyak pemain Barca. Terbiasa dengan gitu aja. Passing lah. Aku salah. Laporan nyebar di gua. Kayak nggak bisa aja. Lu kasih ini ya, belum nonton.
The question will be asked right now if Harry Pino was able to
There seems to be a little bit more luck from us, Saudi Arabia, in the final 10 minutes or so.
Well, most likely had no impact on the final proceedings here today. You can also be a little bit of proof of concept and some pictures to be shown by Giorgio Stonis after they go and break down the film and the assessments. See a little bit of flair, a little bit of individuality, some passing and moving like we've seen from Saudi in the last 10 minutes. Certainly they will take that with full confidence that if they can play like that against Cabo Verde, they will be able to get full 3 points and maybe able to get one of those 8 third-place spots to get into the round of 32.
And to Houston they go. To Texas, they have been based in Austin, Texas. It's going to be a bit more of a cooler environment inside this stadium, certainly compared to that of the Texas Heat, and that's in Miami as well when they play Uruguay. Saudi Arabia's way. They should reach their 7th World Cup, went through 4 rounds of qualifying. It was quite the epic route to November of 2023, or started up against Hong Kong.
Laporte's got a little one there. There could have been a different outcome to that. Sensible from a referee to not book it, but Laporte does not need to pick up a needless yellow at 4-0. Put himself on a yellow card warning heading into the last match day against Uruguay.
Nico Williams. Slajami. Twin brother, he played a handful of times for Saudi Arabia. Slajami. So, manoeuvre this side of the outlet means Fatwell.
Better from Saudi Arabia. Look like they're finally shaking maybe a little bit of fear and maybe too much respect they had for Spain. Spain fully deserved it of that respect. They've earned that. And they played like a side that deserved to be respected, but it was a bit too deep. Maybe when you look back at the proceedings, and especially with Spain scoring 10 minutes into this match, maybe the tactics were set up into too low of a block. They provided too much possession. In Spain, they were a lot more clinical today than they were in the match they won against Cabo Verde. If I can tell you the right answer to how to approach tactically against Spain, I'd be down there on the sideline, not here in the booth with you, Chris, but nevertheless, it just feels like Saudi finally just gone for it and opened themselves up, and they look better in the last 10 minutes in Spain.
Just come on, horse here.
That's a really nasty one because Connor would not have seen Al-Haji let get behind. He couldn't even brace himself for the impact. Our referee does the absolute right thing, even if the counter-attack was on for Spain. To see a player go down after that, immediately stop the game.
Just a reminder, we got some games to welcome today, both in Iran, Uruguay, Verde. This is crucial to this particular group, is in Egypt as well. That will take all of the chiefs to Guadalajara, and
Saudi fans have really come into Atlanta Stadium and the downtown of Atlanta, Georgia, and made it a vibrant atmosphere. You get a good look at Louis Duval's mom. What a moment that must be to see your son score a goal, his first World Cup goal in person. What's it many of you feel like?
Absolutely. It's something built into this. Everything will work out for us. He's no doubt he's fully expecting that his team will go all the way and will lift the most coveted trophy in football. Looks like he's going to be coming up here for something like Mr. on the Interbank. Scored 30 goals for 7 assists in the Super League this season. You can see the same shirt, which is going to need to get changed. Here's to the ball. So the change can be made. So the end of Nessa Al-Dasari in the middle of the park on what is his 49th cap for his country today. His careers reports suggesting that eyes are on him from top European clubs. Al-Ghanaim coming up, recalled in March he was some 40 years away. Kilo goes back with a fresh shirt. As the game restarts, it's a wrap. Roger. So 6 Adelon. Speak up, Marina. So World Cup, with his injuries that he had in the second half of the season, the Premier League would also fractured his foot in February. He returned at the final day of the season against Kresna Sambas. Here's again, the Arsenal man, Kudura. Roger.
Wonderful football from Spain. They have been nearly perfect today. The expansive nature which they made the field, let the ball do the work, movement off the ball, combination play. Feels tight. Brad Torres, the first look, went to the assistant referee on the far side. Nonetheless, it's the end of a well-worked sequence from Spain. Simplest of tap-ins, but the hard work was done with the ball movement before and the movement off the ball to create the opportunity.
So we'll wait to see whether this does that. I'm looking for that offside. So let's score 5 or more goals in 3 World Cup matches. And into that next game, so like I said, Denmark, Bulgaria, Costa Rica more recently in 2022. Just waiting to see whether all is okay.
There is semi-automated offside. There's chips inside of the ball that can track when the ball was kicked, and then they can sync that up with the movement to be able to get that as close as possible. Here's the definitive look.
Ya, jauh.
The length of time he's taking shows how close this is to make sure that it's a goal or not. Torres tapping in and what would be a 25th international goal if this is to count. Good return considering his impact role that he has.
After review, the number 7 boxman has in offside position.
So what would be, I don't think what's going to the technical Spain this afternoon.
You got the feeling in the sense that we got that look right along the 18 that Torres had just strayed ever so closely to an offside position. It almost felt like it was leaning towards an offside decision, and Torres' initial reaction to just look over the assistant referee with that am I not offside look tells you he knew it was close. That's smart for the goalkeeper. Good awareness. Good soccer IQ.
Kumasi is 6 foot. Very cool. Nice to his goalkeeper, Sedang. Kumasi looks like a player who's been part of the furniture in that Scottish defence. It's only 19.
Gimana cara screenshot itu ya?
Ilmu,
Hah?
ilmu gitu.
Sekarang verifikat.
Tak kanan kali itu. Ulun dengan dia. Ulun dengan on off bersamaan.
Mau dia.
Sampai mau.
Matikan ya.